So welcome to this small little extra section here. I decided to make some rocks in my by my tree to make it look a bit more nice and a bit more detailed. Making the rocks, I'm going to start off with a cube. I didn't bother making a cube in Maya or anything like that and importing it, so all I did was retopologize one of the polymesh cube-like things you can get from ZBrush, because the polygon flow of those cubes, otherwise the ZBrush, is actually quite terrible the way they do them. They have giant poles by the end of them. That's really not that good, is it? So here I'm just grabbing the cube, scaling it up to make it, you know, fairly decently sized. You've seen me make rocks before. I have a video on this. It's basically the same here in ZBrush, but I figured I'd just show it to make it a kind of complete experience, if you will. So yeah, here I'm just making rocks. Is actually quite fun, because what you get to do is just go in with a standard brush and just really mess around with the model. And all you have to do later is just really clean it up with the clay tubes brush. Not clay tubes, sorry, the trim dynamic brush, which you can see I'm doing right here. You see what it does with the rocks. It works just about the same way as the brush I used in my other rock modeling video where I use mudbox. It's basically the same with that. So you can see that I'm very, very, very quickly getting a very rock-like appearance. Obviously it's very spongy right now, but we will indeed fix that up later. I'm going to make a couple of these by the end, you know, one or two. I think 3 or something like that. Just to have some differentiation. I could have just made one and then copied it over, but I mean that wouldn't have been too fun, well, would it? So here I'm sectioning off, making some multiple rocks, making it a bit more fun to look at, really, because just having one rock really doesn't tickle my mind as the same way that having multiples. You saw me use the Damien Stand brush. You see me using it a lot actually in the series. Not spending too much time again on the bottom. The bottom is something of this entire piece that's not going to be shown, so you know that's just fine. Here I figured that it was kind of a bit too flat, this piece, this rock piece right here. It was really kind of odd looking, so I figured I'd fix it. Also, when using the trim dynamic, it's very easy to get a bit too many of these small details. You can see the really small like plane shifts, if you know what I mean. Like it looks very bumpy now. And you don't want to have a lot of those, even though it's kind of, it looks cool, I know, when you're doing it, and it's super fun to do. But you want to keep it to kind of large, major ones, because otherwise, as you saw there when I zoomed out, it looked very odd. It looked very kind of cheese-like, if you know what I mean, kind of spongy. And you don't want that from rocks. You want a very defined, very hard surface look, which we're going to get eventually here. And I'm going in with a very, very hard Damien Stand brush, just to really, really define the surface shifts right here. And of course it is very good at doing that, so it does it quite well. So I mean, obviously they don't look quite perfect just yet. I mean, that's why we are working on them, right? And I mean, this isn't a big part. We're going to make, I believe, one more maybe, or maybe we do duplicate this actually. Not sure. I don't think so, but yeah, it's going to have some rocks next to it. I'm just going to do this is scaling it with the transpose tool, a very useful tool. Just activate the move or whatever, and you'll have it. Yeah, maybe I do just copy it over, I'm not sure about that. Oh yeah, I make some special rocks by scaling this one up and rotating it. I actually made this rock so that you could rotate it and it still looked quite fine. So, because this was one of those things, I didn't want to spend too much time on, mostly just on video purposes, because I've already shown you how to do this in one video. So there's really no point in me doing it twice. So, yeah, here I'm scaling it up way much, a bit too much, so I'm going to scale it down just right here in a minute. I hope, because this is way too big. Oh yeah, I'm having some issues with the transpose right here. Not entirely sure what's going on, but yeah, we eventually get it to work, so that's just fine. So replacing it, I'm going to rotate it a bit after this, I'm sure, just to make it look a bit better. And yes, there we go. We can see copying it again. Duplicating it, you can just do it through the subtools. There's a button. There's a button right there which just says duplicate, which you use, which duplicates your object. So it's not really too difficult doing that. It's in fact quite easy. One of the few things there are. Well, actually, a lot of things in ZBrush are very easy. It just doesn't look like a very easy software at first. I love ZBrush, man. So, let's see what we're doing here. Duplicating, placing them. I mean, this is just me having fun, really, placing rocks, like, trying to see how nice they look. And yeah, here I'm going to make another one. Just for the sake of it. And here I just didn't bother making another, like, cube, so all I did was go into the lowest subdivision and just, like, smooth down the entire thing a lot. And, you know, just messing it up around a bit and, you know, sharpening it up. It really doesn't need to be that great, to be honest. It has to be, in fact, be quite easily made. Here I'm going to cut it right there. That was one of the new clipping brushes. You can select one part like that, and it'll cut off everything else. So I use that to flatten out the bottom, just make it easier to place later on. And you can see that I'm having a bit of an issue here with having a bit too much of this detail, which makes it look very odd from a distance. I mean, it looks kind of cool now because we are looking at it very straight on, but when you zoom out, it's not going to look quite well. And here you can see I have some issues with the trim dynamic brush, which is one of the things you have to keep in mind. You have to be very careful. It doesn't only... You need to work around it, because it doesn't work always on all types of geometries, on all kind of turns. You need to kind of adapt your workflow and your kind of the way you sculpt to use it properly. And that's just the way you do with every brush anyway, so it really doesn't matter that much. Go to add a bit more detail here, just because, I mean, I figured it looked... I mean, it looks a bit better this way, so I figured that would be just fine. And so it is, in fact. I consider it just fine. I mean, that's maybe just me, but I think it's quite well and good. So yeah, let's see here. Making a bit... I mean, this is just me being random. I don't really like how this turned out, this little thing there. I think the little indent right there, which I think I'm actually going to keep. Oh yeah, I'm making it like ridged. Which doesn't actually make a lot of sense, like rock-wise, but I think it looks kind of neat, so I'm keeping it. This rock's actually one of those which I really didn't actually show a lot of. As you can see, all that detail put into it, I'm hiding because I don't actually like it. I think it looks just fine from the back. So, yeah. You can see, yeah, I'm placing another rock like in front of the back rock there, which I'm all in because that just makes it look better. And I mean, it doesn't actually matter. Again, I'm not using this for a game, so I don't need to keep in mind spare geometry, stuff like that, so it actually doesn't really bother me. So here I'm going to make another rock yet still, making some really peculiar shapes, because making peculiar shapes is what I do, and it is quite fun. And we're just going to see me make this, place it, and I believe that will be the end of this video. A very quick part, but I want to show it because, I mean, it's fun, generally. I just want to show it because I like doing it, so... and why not? I like doing rocks. Rocks are very fun and very easy. I actually had some very high surface detail on these. I'm not sure if I recorded that. I made these really high res and I had some like small dimples and stuff. Just by doing with alphas, which I think actually looked quite nice. So I hope I did record that, because that would... I mean, it's not especially difficult to do, but it's fine. So you can see I'm turning on X-ray just to make it easy for me to place this. Going to rotate it a bit, I'm sure. No, maybe not. Maybe it's fine like that. You see how much the rocks really added to it? I think it really does help to look nice. And, you know, when we retopologize, we'll just retopologize over the rocks, which is, you know, fine. So, yes, this is the final sculpted mesh. This is the final high-res mesh of the tree. Yes, indeed. I think I'm going to... Yeah, here I'm doing... I think I'm grouping the objects. Yeah, I'm grouping the different rocks, because I did a lot of duplicating before of the rocks and then just placed them on top of each other, so I just made those into one object. So yes, in fact, we're going to clean it up, watch it through a bunch of other materials, just make sure it looks fine. As I said previously, it's very, very good to do so. And yes, just render it out, make sure it all is dandy. I guess I did not record me doing the high surface stuff, but hey, I did. So yeah, and that, I believe, was the end of this video. Very quick part, and I will see you in the next part, which will be retopologizing. Yay! Yeah!